Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us at this webinar, DeFi for Bitcoin. Sorry for the delay in starting a little bit later than planned. We would just have a small technical difficulties with some of the panelists, but this is getting solved. So thank you very much. I'm in Asia, like maybe many of you. And this is a second IOVlabs webinar that we're specifically doing for an Asian audience at a time that I hope is comfortable for everyone. But that also means that our panelists have to do this in the early hours of the day because they are, some of them are in South America and one of them is in Europe. So thank you all for being here. My name is Eddy Travia. I'm the director of IOVlabs Asia and the CEO of Coincilium. So we have a great webinar for you today. We're going to be delving into a sector which is still actually largely unknown by most, which is the DeFi for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're in the world of crypto, you have heard about DeFi, but I'm also pretty sure you may not have done it or used Bitcoin for that yet. So we have the main proponents with us today of DeFi for Bitcoin. So first of all, DeFi for Bitcoin at the moment is mainly on the RSK technology because it enables smart contracts using what we can call the layer 2 Bitcoin by RSK, which is also known as RBTC, and is pegged 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. So we have with us the IOV Master Advocate, Gabriel Kurman, who is going to speak right after me. We have Santi, whom I would call today the Master Financier of IOV, Santiago de Lavallaz, and we also have with us the co-founder of Money on Chain, Manuel Ferrari, who's going to tell us more about Money on Chain, of course, and the Reef on Chain platform as well. And I will wait a little bit to see what is our next panelist, and we will introduce him very soon. We're going to talk about the different ecosystem, the different elements of the DeFi for Bitcoin ecosystem, and that includes as well the Defiant wallet, whose team is also based in Argentina, and that also includes new products in this space, which is RSK Swap and the R wallet, which is a wallet designed specifically for the RBTC and the RSK tokens. And soon as well, a new platform called Sovereign, but this will be, we're going to update everyone soon about these upcoming tools of the DeFi for Bitcoin ecosystem. So before I let our panelists demonstrate the platform and talk more about this, let me just say a couple of words about me. I've been an entrepreneur and investor in this space since 2013 in blockchain. And at that time, I co-founded a company that was actually incubating projects in the space of Bitcoin and blockchain. And then it was acquired by Coincilium, which got listed in December 2015 on a stock exchange in England, in the UK. And our first investment at the time actually was in RSK Labs, which is called today IOVlabs. So this is a bit of background. Our relationship since then has strengthened, and we have recently announced the establishment of a joint venture in Singapore between IOVlabs and Coincilium, and it's called IOVlabs Asia, and is mainly its main objective is to promote and commercialize the Reef and RSK solutions. And I'm also the regional director of IOVlabs and the director of that company. So a quick word about IOVlabs, focusing on developing various implementations of the RSK smart contract network, the Reef and the Taringa network, the Taringa platform, which is kind of the Spanish-speaking main social media, a bit of a Spanish-speaking Facebook, if you will, very known in Latin America, obviously less known in Asia. And Reef is this suite of open and decentralized infrastructure protocols that work on the RSK blockchain. So that's the introduction, and I will let now Gabriel Kurman, IOV Master Advocate, continue, and I hope you're going to enjoy this webinar. speak a little bit later in the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Eddy. It's a pleasure to be talking today with our Asian friends and Asia community. When we created RSK many years ago, it's amazing how time flies on the blockchain space. It's been more than 5 years already. And it's not coincidence that RSK as an idea started in Latin America, especially in Argentina, where we have a very long and sad track record of financial problems in our economies and problems with the financial system, extremely high inflation and seizures from the banks and the governments that happen every decade. Something similar to what's happening with Venezuela now, with extremely fast adoption of Bitcoin technology. We understood at the time that Bitcoin could represent, for many people around the world, the first opportunity to protect digitally their long-time savings in an asset or an asset class that is impossible to be censored and possible to be seized by authorities. And we understood that Bitcoin could provide that store of value and also be the ultimate DeFi tool, decentralized finance solution, in order to protect individuals around the world. But we saw that Bitcoin by itself was not enough, because given that, at least in Latin America itself, we have 200 million unbanked people, which represent 65% of total population. And this is something that replicates in all the emerging markets in a similar percentage. We needed additional functionality and programmability to be able to build extremely sophisticated and automated solutions that can serve billions of users around the world. So now when we see the ecosystem, this thriving ecosystem that Eddy was mentioning of DeFi for Bitcoin, or DeFi solutions secured by Bitcoin miners and using Bitcoin as underlying asset or store of value, it's a little bit of a dream come true. I've been hearing Dieguito, our co-founder and CEO in IOVlabs, talking about this dream of having a basket of stable coins from different emerging markets that could be issued in a decentralized way with Bitcoin as collateral. And now seeing money on chain a reality, and these additional solutions being built, such as Reef on chain, on top of it, it's a little bit of a dream come true, and it's not happening in a random moment of world history. We are living in a very particular moment where the world seems to be breaking apart. No, we have major powers around the world not trusting each other, not trusting software companies or solutions, depending where they have been developed. We have the SWIFT network at a crisis level, and major powers around the world not using the US dollar as a trading pair or currency anymore. And it's interesting to remember back in the day, I think it was in 2014, where The Economist took this article saying that Bitcoin was a trust machine. And at the time, we understood that, different individuals that didn't know each other and didn't trust each other could now trade through the Bitcoin network without knowing themselves, because we didn't know to trust ourselves. But I think we never thought that in such a short period of time, Bitcoin could actually start playing a role as a net under the traditional financial system in case it starts failing, when we have superpowers around the world that don't trust each other anymore, long-term allies and trading partners that now cannot trust each other anymore. And hopefully, and I say this with a lot of hope, seeing what's happening in the world, I believe that Bitcoin and DeFi for Bitcoin can actually start providing this safety net to keep us all together as a global community. So I'm very excited about the level of innovation and tools that are being built on top of RSK and Bitcoin security, but also I believe and I hope that in the case that the traditional financial system has a major disruption, this decentralized finance layer and Bitcoin will play a key role in keeping us all together as a global economy. So I think it's all this ecosystem and all these wonderful tools that the different teams in the RSK and Reef ecosystems are building could play a key strategic role on a global basis, keeping us all together. So we've had a lot of extremely exciting news recently. Last week, we announced the Chainlink integration. So Chainlink is now available on RSK and deployed through the RSK Ethereum bridge. We have some very interesting projects such as MakerDAO and Circle USDC as well, testing the bridge, which basically enables any token on RSK, on Ethereum, sorry, to be ported on RSK seamlessly. So this is very exciting news. And we have the Defiant team that built an amazing wallet, extremely easy to use, becoming very popular in Latin America and hopefully soon, being used broadly in Asia as well. So this is part of the purpose of this webinar, is that you get to know this amazing solution. And of course, Money on Chain, which, as I said before, has built the first ever stable coin with collateral in Bitcoin, which is one of the reasons why we created RSK in the first place. So we're very excited about that. As you might know, we have reached 50% of total Bitcoin hashing power, securing every token on RSK right now. So this is a major milestone that makes any smart contract on RSK several times more secure than Ethereum, and with fees way lower. At some point, we're like 100 times lower than Ethereum. And when we reached that level of security, that enabled us to keep on dreaming. And this is where the Reef or RSK infrastructure services came into play. Because even when we are able to solve the major problems of the financial system and creating the basis for a really open financial system available to all, we're far from solving the major problems of the internet. The internet was meant to be peer-to-peer, democratic, access to everyone. But if you take a look right now, it's fully concentrated in a few handful of major corporations tied to their local governments that put the user in with a layer or under the product category, where they offer us free services, pseudo-free services, but actually we became the product and they are selling our information. So what we're trying to do with the RSK infrastructure framework, it's taking everything that Satoshi, Bitcoin, and DeFi has taught us, but now applying this to the other components of the internet to, again, protect the user in the exchange of information, communications, and storage. So one of the main components of the RSK infrastructure framework is Reef Identity, which we will have an MVP in a couple of months, and will be Taringa, one of the main customers using this Reef login, which basically enables users to collect and back up all the private information, contacts in the social network, the identity, the reputation, and start regaining that power that the users lost in the past, where they can control their identity and reputation. We also have Reef Storage, which is integrated with IPFS and Swarm, two major projects in the decentralized storage ecosystem. And with the same logic, we are also creating Reef communications. And as you can see, in the same way that distributed nodes around the world can exchange value, why not also exchange storage, communications, and protect the identity? One of the final components of the Reef or RSK infrastructure framework is the Reef marketplace, which enables fully decentralized marketplaces that if you combine all these Reef services with the vision of Taringa, the social network that we are pushing towards decentralization, we can start dreaming in fully decentralized sharing economies, where users and drivers or landlords of apartments and users can get together in these decentralized marketplaces where the pictures are stored in decentralized storage, where the websites can be hosted and fully immutable and uncensorable in decentralized storage, where the communications can be peer-to-peer and fully encrypted, where the payments can be peer-to-peer, and where the conditions of the marketplace can be coded in a smart contract that no one can change over time. So this, I think, it's the vision behind Reef, which is quite exciting because we've been able to do it on the financial services side, and now we are taking this into the social networks and sharing economies, with Taringa being the major platform where we can prove this. Taringa has 12 million active users that are currently not very much connected to blockchain technology. We launched last month Taringa Club, which is the first wallet and approach to this community. And we are going to be inviting all these 12 million users to benefit from the content that they create on the platform. So the value that is generated through advertisement in the platform will be shared with these users based upon the quality of the content that they create. Everything that we built at our IOVlabs, it's fully open source, and everything that we are going to be doing on Taringa will also be available to everyone in the ecosystem to replicate. So we're very excited on how the DeFi tools are evolving around the world, and in particular, how they are becoming available also to the Bitcoin community through RSK and DeFi for Bitcoin. We believe that there's a huge opportunity in Africa, Latin America, and Asia in particular in the adoption of these technologies. So we're super excited about having more and more of these opportunities to share all the innovation that is happening in the RSK and Reef ecosystems with our Asian friends and Asia community, and having Eddy and Coincilium present there also creates a unique angle for everything that we are doing around the world. And before I pass it into Manu, I would like to publicly thank Eddy and Coincilium, because it's not only that RSK was one of the first Coincilium investments, but it was the first investment that RSK Labs at the time received. So the Coincilium team and Eddy and Malcolm in particular were visionaries that understood the value that bringing smart contract programmability on top of Bitcoin could bring to the space and to the global community and society in general. And probably none of this would have happened without the early support and vision from Eddy and the Coincilium team that understood the value that bringing smart contracts to Bitcoin could add to the ecosystem. So thank you, Eddy, for that early support. And I'm super happy to see how over time and 5 years later, we keep on pushing shoulder to shoulder towards making this dream come true. So thank you very much. And with that, I pass it into Manu, who is going to explain us what is this amazing idea called Money on Chain, and how different users around the world, and particularly in Asia, can start using it and benefiting from this amazing technology built on RSK and Bitcoin.
Okay, thank you, Gaku. Thank you for the introduction. It's really, and thank you all for being here. It's really exciting to be sharing what Money on Chain is doing for Bitcoin with an Asian community. And thank you, Eddy, for being the host. So I will share a presentation, so everybody can follow my explanation of what Money on Chain is, and also I will do afterwards a short live demo on how to use the platform, just to everybody have a first glance of how easy it really is to do DeFi on Bitcoin with these tools. So I will share the screen. Let me share tab. Okay. So here it is. So first, why we built Money on Chain? What's our vision? Our vision is that everybody in the world, in the financial world, is using Bitcoin on mainstream. That what we call in Argentina, Doña Rosa, show though anybody can use Bitcoin, and actually maybe they will be using Bitcoin as the base layer, and they will not realize that they are using Bitcoin. This is agenda. Sorry, I always put the social media because afterwards I forget. Maybe Francisco, you can add our social media in case people want to know more afterwards. So why Money on Chain? As I was explaining, we think the founders of Money on Chain, the people that is working, all the Bitcoiners, we are nearly all really all-time Bitcoiners. We think that Bitcoin is the basis for the financial future of the world, and we want to make this new financial system decentralized, open source, censorship resistant. We think that these characteristics of Bitcoin is essential for building an open financial system for everybody. And we think that this will be much easier and makes much more sense to build it on top of Bitcoin than on top of any other cryptocurrency. So that's why we choose Bitcoin mainly as collateral. And what is the main problem that we want to solve? Initially, when we started to build this project, we wanted to build something else, but the reality is that we found that Bitcoin had a really big problem for financial solutions, which is volatility. So we made a research. We couldn't believe that no one was building a Bitcoin collateral stablecoin. When we started other now very popular crypto-backed stablecoins didn't exist. Actually, we didn't know about MakerDAO or any other ones. And we thought, well, if no one had make it, let's do it ourselves. And it was a little bit crazy when we started, but now it's already we already built it. So what are the components of Money on Chain protocols? There are several components. Some of them are being built right now. For example, a governance token, which is called Money on Chain token, or MOC. The MOC token will enable the complete decentralization of the protocols and all the components of the protocols. For us, as Bitcoiners, is essential. As you you imagine, as any Bitcoiner, decentralization is really something important. So having a centralized protocol, a centralized stablecoin, for us doesn't make sense. You can use digital dollars for that. So we need this, and we are now actually coding this piece of the protocol. What we already have running and working onto RSK is what we call the stablecoin platform. It has 3 main tokens, which is called the Dollar Chain, the BitPro, and the BTCX. These 3 tokens are backed. They use as collateral RBTC. I'm going to go deeply on that. And then we have a second implementation that Gabriel mentioned about, which is called Reef Chain, and that has other 3 tokens, which are very, very similar to this Dollar Chain, the BitPro, and the BTCX, which are called Dollar Reef, the Reef Pro, and the ReefX. And these are quite similar, but only use a different collateral. In the case of the first ones, use Bitcoin as collateral, and in the second case, they use Reef as collateral. Then another component that is being built right now is the Decentralized Oracles. If you analyze any DeFi protocol, I would suggest that besides analyzing the tokens in the protocols and the main protocol that does the DeFi, I think it's very important for you to analyze the governance and also the oracles. The centralized oracles are really, really important. We analyzed all the oracles in the market. We thought there were some trade-off on most of them, so we felt more comfortable on building a completely decentralized oracle that can save the data of the price of Bitcoin in each block on RSK, and that's why we built this oracle. This is running on testnet, and we will launch it very soon. And then the last piece that is also running on testnet is what we call the TEX. It's a token exchange, a decentralized token exchange. For us, it was really important to have a decentralized token exchange in the platform for some reasons, for some liquidity reasons in certain moments. So as it didn't exist at the moment when we started the project, the centralized token exchange running on RSK, we decided to build one. Luckily, there is already one which is called RSK Swap, but there is another alternative that now we are going to launch in the following weeks. So again, about MOC, I'm not going to go deep on this. This is a hybrid protocol, an oracle that other projects will be able to use it also. It is compatible also with Ethereum Classic, with Solidity built blockchains. And it will be available on Reef Marketplace. And to run nodes, you will need to stake MOC tokens that are the governance tokens, and that is one of the parts how it will be decentralized. The other thing is the text. I just mentioned it before. One different or differentiator of this text, this DEX, which is more commonly known in blockchain space, is that it's based, the method for trading is based on the London Colfix method. And what that method allows you is to avoid front running when you have a very low volume. And that is very, very common, especially with new projects. So we think we add a novelty, something that is new in the space, in the crypto space, that will enable new use cases for DEXs. So regarding the stablecoin platform, the first token is what we call the dollar on chain. It's a token backed by Bitcoin, and its peg is guaranteed by the smart contract. I will go deeply on that feature. The second token is what we call the BPRO. It's designed for Bitcoin holders, and it has certain characteristics that I will go a little bit deeper later. And then the third token is what we call the BTCX. And this model, if you ask what is the novelty with money on chain stablecoin, is having this different model where we have these three actors that are sharing the volatility for what they are interested to. If you are interested on having stability, you will choose the dollar on chain, which is a stablecoin. It's completely stable and pegged to a currency. In this case, the dollar on chain is pegged to US dollar. If you are a Bitcoin holder, you will be able to hold this BPRO, and it will get you a passive income and other things. And if you are more like a trader, if you are long on the price of Bitcoin in the short term, and you want to make a leverage position, you will use the BTCX. So,
Manu, let me add something that is very interesting. What is happening, because this that you've done for the dollar can be replicated for any other currency around the world, and I'm very excited to see how the Spanish and French communities are putting a lot of pressure to the money on chain team to issue a euro on chain, because now these Bitcoiners can use their Bitcoin to issue collateral also and enable euro on chain. And it would be awesome to hear and receive the same kind of pressure or interest from our Asian community friends to issue some Asian currencies also as a stable coin with Bitcoin as collateral. So when you guys are listening to what Manuel is saying now, just keep in mind that this could be replicated for any other fiat currency around the world.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. We already have in our roadmap to issue the euro on chain. We have demand from different projects in the world. Last week, I was talking with a Mexican project wallet that is building an on-ramp of ramp to Bitcoin, and they asked me for a Mexico on-chain peso. For us, it's very easy to make this deployment, but we are now focused on building some liquidity on this early dollar on-chain, and very, very busy building these last components of the protocol, but we expect that in the first quarter of next year to launch the euro on-chain, the peso Mexican on-chain, if it's possible. We also have demand for the real on-chain in Brazil, and we've been talking last year with a very well-known Korean project that want the one on-chain. So, and we have it in our roadmap. And one of the characteristics of our model, of our protocol, is that it's really very easy for us to launch other fiat peg stablecoins. And we are going to do it. It's only a time problem. So regarding the dollar on chain, this is the first stablecoin backed only by Bitcoin. And as I mentioned, it is pegged to US dollar. And one of the main characteristics, the differentiator, especially if you trade lots of volume and you want to be stable, really to be stable, it's what we call a hard peg. A hard peg means that if you send $100 in Bitcoin, you will receive 100 TOCs and vice versa. And this is, you don't depend on a secondary market. You don't depend, you can interact with the protocol directly with $10, with $100. And again, you don't depend. I will show it that it's very, very easy to make these exchanges. The second token is designed for BTC holders. It has several features. The first feature, it has what we call free leverage. So for a Bitcoiner who is long on Bitcoin in the long run, it's great. This is the token that we as Bitcoiners love, because we put aside some of our Bitcoin, and instead of being borrowing in a Trezor, they can be in a Trezor, but in a token, earning some free leverage. It will be earning also what I have rebranded, and I have used a term that Eddy actually, I read it first with Eddy. He called it coded income. It was normally called passive income, but I really love this coded income, so I'm using it. Eddy, thank you. And it's this coded income, I will explain from where it comes, but it's an interest rate that earns these Bitcoiners for having this token. Then it has a percentage of the fees that are paid in the protocol are going to be earned by the BitPro holders. This is a characteristic that's been designed since the beginning, but we are implementing in the following days. So if you are a BitPro holders, if you're already using the BitPro, you will start to see another income and appreciation in your token, because part of the fees that are being paid for using the protocol are going to go to this Bitcoin. Part of those are going to go to BitPro to appreciate the token. The other feature that is going to be launched also in the following weeks is what we call an incentive program for Bitcoiners to add liquidity to the protocol, which are with the governance token, the mock tokens, and more than 10% of the mock tokens will be shared with the people adding liquidity to the protocol. That you add liquidity to the protocol when you exchange your Bitcoin for BitPro. So sorry, 1 minute. So this is working with your family. It always happens. So you earn some MOC tokens when you add liquidity, and this will be implemented in the following days. And you can, these tokens, the same with on-chain, you can secure it with a hardware wallet. You can exchange it in a text, also in a decentralized way in RSK Swap or other exchanges, obviously. So regarding the free leverage that I explained, this is a picture from the metrics screen in the app. I will show it afterwards also. But you can see, for example, this is from yesterday night, I think. This was 1.114. The design has some incentive written in code to put the leverage in 1.1. We expect that will happen. Up to now, had happened fairly that. As you see, this is the historic leverage. This is when we launched the system. Actually, the leverage being very low since here that we open it to the public. And as you see, this is 1.1. So more or less, sometimes it's been a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. But all in all, it's been around 1.1, 1.15. And again, if you are a Bitcoiner, this is great, because this is free leverage. That is something that is not very common in crypto. Regarding what we call coded income, this is another screen from the system. If you go to your BitPro wallet, you will see the historic interest rate. As you see, it's been up to 8% annually. It's variable. It depends on the demand of another component of the protocol that I will explain later, which is the BTCX. But when the people, the traders, want to do a leverage operation, they take away some leverage from the BitPro, but they have to pay an interest rate. And that interest rate is earned by the BitPro. So it's not that you will get only nearly 1% a year on your BPRO. Is on top of the free leverage, you will earn this coded income, this passive income that is being paid by other users. So before we had like 100, actually thousands of simulations with the price of Bitcoin and different kind of leverage. I'm expecting some volume in all those some trading volumes in the platform. With all these simulations, we have seen really very good performance. We would have a really good performance with the BPRO, but we prefer to talk about the real historic performance. This is since launch. As you see, the price of BPRO normally is quite pegged to Bitcoin, is quite close. But when the price of Bitcoin goes up, it starts to separate. And what our simulation shows is that because of this leverage and all the other components that is increasing the price, you would expect a higher, having more Bitcoins with BPRO than staying on Bitcoin. So this is the last measure that we had, or last graphic I made in August 26, when the price of Bitcoin was 11,000, the price of BPRO was 12,000 something. So another way to analyze this is watching what is the price of the BPRO against the BTC. This is quite interesting. As you see here, the price of Bitcoin, if you analyze the other graph, the price of Bitcoin been increasing a little bit. So the price of BPRO been increasing further. And this is the biggest crash in the price of Bitcoin in the last 7 years. This is a liquidity token, so this provides the stability for the stablecoin. Other protocol has really hard time and crashes, and some, well, there was panic and buttons being pushed to stop oracles and something like that. In our case, it was business as usual. Of course, the liquidity provider lost like 5% on their BPRO. But as you see, when the price of Bitcoin again return, nowadays the yield is like more than 6-7% annually. So it's really, the BPRO is thought for people adding liquidity for the long term. And regarding the Reef Pro, which is, I talked before about Reef, Gaku introduced the Reef, which is this other token that can be used to do DeFi onto RSK. If you are a Reef holder and you want to earn some more Bitcoin, some more Reef on your Reef, you can stake it in the platform, and you will be earning more Reef actually. And this is the performance of the Reef Pro since launch till 2 weeks ago. So it's a nice token to increase your yield.
Manu, let me add a comment.
Yeah.
Let me add something here that might be interesting for everyone in the call, is that for very particular reasons that you all know, in Argentina and Venezuela, we are having excess of demand for dollars on top of Bitcoin. So for the dollar on chain and the Reef dollar, there is excess of demand because people cannot trust their local currencies and they want to run away from inflation and use it to freely trade. There are very strong restrictions in Argentina on how many dollars you can buy. So people are packed with local pesos being debased every week because of inflation. So there's an excess of demand for stable coins in Latin America, not for trading purposes. It's not people that are trading on crypto exchanges and they want to to hedge the risk is for daily activities, for buying bread, for saving a little bit that they can save every week, and they want to protect their savings. So by investing your Reef or your Bitcoin in dollar on chain or Reef dollar, you are getting a free upside, as Manu was explaining, but also you're helping the local communities to protect their lifelong savings using these derivatives and stable coins built on top of Bitcoin infrastructure. So it's a very interesting way of doing a good investment at the same time that you're helping the local communities to adopt these technologies.
Yeah. I actually feel the same as a Bitcoiner. I love the BitPro, but for the short term, I want to save in Argentina. Maybe the rest of the world in Asia, they don't know a lot about Argentina, but Argentines been using the dollar since always. Why? Because we don't have a currency. Our currency inflates like 50% a year or more in some years. So you need a stable currency not to lose your savings in inflation. So I feel as a Bitcoiner that I'm doing these two jobs. I'm very happy because I'm getting more Bitcoins, but at the same time I'm enabling the population and other Bitcoiners mainly, and myself, to have a stable currency in the short term, which anyway we will use it. So better to use Bitcoin than fiat, in my case. So regarding the mock incentive program, this is running on testnet. I always have this. Let's see if I can play it. There it is. So this is testnet. You can test it today if you want. As you see here, that you are not, I have not presented yet. This is the home screen of the platform. You have the different token that I mentioned before. And what you will see in testnet is how many mocks you've been rewarded for staking BitPro, and how many are you earning today. So this is going to be issued in the following weeks. And hopefully, if you want to be part of Manuel Chain Protocol, to be part of the governance, that is sometimes what people ask. Well, I want to be part of this project. Well, if you add liquidity, you will not only enable the dollar on chain and the protocol to work, but also you will be earning a token that will in the future will earn part of the fees of the platform, and also will govern all the protocol. So that was what I was planning. The MOC, it will govern all this protocol. If you stake it, you will earn part of the revenue stream most of the revenue stream. Actually, you will earn as much revenue stream as the money on chain tokens will decide, because it will be completely decentralized, the upgrades. The staking, there's a part of the MOC token that will be kept for staking, and also you will be able to use it for paying part of the fees. But as I mentioned, actually all this could be changed by MOC token holders, because they will choose what this this protocol will go. So some use cases, Eddy mentioned it, Uniswap. We are going to have now the Defiant wallet, which is my favorite mobile wallet, of course. I did mention you can stake it in your tokens in other wallets. You can trade it in CoinSwitch if you want dollar on chain. You can get it very easily through CoinSwitch from Bitcoin, and vice versa. Some NGOs are using the dollar on chain, for example, in Argentina and in South Africa and in Venezuela. We are talking with different NGOs which are interested. Mainly, we are trying to promote to promote, to encourage them to use the Reef dollar, because the dollar chain has a huge demand. For the dollar chain, IOVlabs is helping to add liquidity. But some NGOs are running fundraising campaigns. And for example, this is an NGO in education in Argentina that is running a global fundraising campaign on stablecoin. Crypto market is a marketplace in Argentina, like eBay for Argentina is using the stablecoins for enabling payments. And there's a new project which is called Sovereign, which is going to enable margin trading and lending. It's coming soon. It's not ready. There is another company which is enabling payments, for example, which is called Bloomy. If you are a person who wants to bill in dollar chain and you are working in India, you want to earn your services to charge it in a stablecoin backed by dollar chain, you can already use it. You can bill someone from anywhere in the world, and they will pay it using these stablecoins. And Hold is very nice because they are long-time Bitcoiners. I love this project, and they already enable buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin against dollar chain and against BTC. So this is great news. Regarding the BTCX, that is I mentioned before, it has several features. It has leverage, 2x leverage. Each 30 days, this leverage goes to 0, but you can you can do against your operation. It has a fixed cost. You pay it when you do the operation, but when if you want to cancel the operation before, you will be refunded for that. And there is no margin call on this leverage operation. So you have to be aware if you do a 2x leverage operation and the price of Bitcoin goes down 50%, you will be liquidated without a margin call. So if you didn't understand this very short explanation that I did about the BTCX, most probably this is not a token for you, and you may lose your Bitcoin, so don't use it. It's a token meant mainly for traders who knows what is a leveraged Bitcoin operation. So I will do a short demo on the platform. Afterwards, you can always we will do a Q&A, so you could ask more questions. I will change my screen to, sorry. I will show another window. Here it is. So this is the Manuel chain platform. Sorry, I will change the way how I'm sharing. I will do full screen because if not, I will not be able to show completely. So I want to show also the MetaMask wallet, etc. So now you can see on my screen. And as you see here, in this case, it's connected to MetaMask. You can also connect it to Nifty. We recommend more Nifty because it's easier to do, to use it. But if you are used to DeFi application, maybe you are used to MetaMask. If you are used to MetaMask, the only thing that you need to do is to personalize your RPC. You need to do a configuration. All that is explained in our webpage. If you go to Manuel Chain, there is a tab that it says how to, and there it says how you configure your wallet, your Nifty wallet or your MetaMask wallet. In the case of Nifty, it's more swiftly to use it. If you need to buy if you want to operate the platform in desktop, you will need RBTC if you want to get it. easiest way that I use is CoinSwitch. So you go to CoinSwitch, and in CoinSwitch is really easy to send to get some RBTC. You want to try some Bitcoins to RBTC, you choose some of the options that send you. You put here, you copy your RBTC address when you have configured your MetaMask wallet. From here, you copy your address, and on next screen, it will ask you to send some Bitcoins, in this case 0.1 BTC to this address, and in a couple of minutes, normally you will receive your RBTC in your wallet, okay? So that's the first two steps that you need to do if you want to use Bitcoin on money on chain. So suppose you already have done that, you have already some RBTC. In my case, I have 0.01 RBTC. I already have bought some dollar on chain in the past. If I want to mint a little bit more, like $10, that this would be impossible to do it in another blockchain or the most used smart contract blockchain, because most probably the cost of doing this will be much higher than the $10 that I'm going to get. If I'm minting this, if you are using MetaMask, please be aware, this is one of the reasons why we recommend Nifty Wallet. Normally, by default, the price of gas set using the MetaMask wallet is prepared for Ethereum. So you need to put it 0.06, and the price limit should be like 2 million or $500,000. It will work. And if you do that, in the case of Nifty Wallet, you don't need to configure that, because the suggestion is well done. If you mint these $10, as you see, this is an on-chain transaction, and between it takes like 20 to 40 minutes to have this additional $10 in your wallet, okay? In the case of wanting to mint a little bit of BitPro, it's exactly the same case, and as you see, it's really easy and really cheap to trade, to do operation. This is already confirmed. As you see, the cost is nearly nothing. The fees are 0.1%. And the cost of doing these transactions now to minting these tokens range between 20 cents of a dollar to 40 cents of a dollar to minting these tokens. To sending these tokens between different people, if you want to send it to someone else, it costs now a transaction on chain between 2 cents of a dollar to 4 cents of a dollar. Normally it costs 2 cents of a dollar, so it's really cheap to use it. You can test it. Also, you can test it on testnet if you want. And I was explaining about the BTCX and the passing income. If you see here, if I want to do a BTCX transaction, sorry, you will see one part is the mock fee, which is 0.1, and the interest rate. This is the interest rate that is earned by the BitPro holders. Okay, I will do another transaction on BTCX. So as you see, while I was speaking, I did 3 online minting of tokens. We call it minting because you are operating against a protocol. You are not operating against anybody, but against software. And I explained you before that it's very easy to redeem tokens, and you don't need a secondary market. If I want to redeem my $10 that I minted a couple of minutes ago, I can redeem it without needing another party. Okay, so it's very easy to operate yourself against the protocol, the system. The last thing that I'm going to show is, well, I was showing before the interest rate that the BPRO is earning. If you go to your wallet, you have different wallets. If you want to see your tokens, your BPRO tokens, you will see the interest rate, historic interest rate that has the BPRO. Sorry, it's a little bit slow, the interface. My internet actually, not the interface. In Argentina, internet is coming much slow each time. I will feel. Chan.
Manu, how are we in terms of time? Because I know we also have the other demo.
I'm finishing.
Okay.
Just want to show this, and I will show only how to access the Reef on chain. I'm sorry that this is my internet is slow right now.
There we go.
So here you see the interest that I have shown before. And the last thing is here in metrics. If you go, let's hope that it charges much faster. If you go to metrics, you will see all the information of the protocol from the blockchain. So you will see the price of the BPRO, and as you see, the BPRO is earning more than Bitcoin nearly since always. When it was since launch, it been most of the time upside the price of Bitcoin. Then you have the price of BTCX, which fluctuates. Obviously, since last settlement, the price of Bitcoin went down a lot, so the BTCX holder is losing money, and that's what's expected because they are carrying most of the risk in the system. Here you see how much dollar chain been issued and the total Bitcoins in the system. So all the information is transparent, and you can check it by yourself. If you want to operate with Reef, you just go to Reef on chain. As you saw, it's very, very easy to change from one screen to the other one. And let's wait until my internet completes configuration. But the only thing that you need to be aware if you are using this, the most important troubleshooting is, as in this case, the collateral is Reef instead of Bitcoin. You need to set what is called an allowance. This is very common in DeFi platforms, but if you are not used, you need to know it. So you need to set an allowance to the tokens that you are going to trade. Sorry for the very low internet connection. It's really, really slow this morning. I think StreamYard sometimes takes a lot of bandwidth. I don't know, Gaku, if there is any question that you want me to be explaining meanwhile.
No, do we have? So we should let the audience know that if you have any questions, you can also post them on the chat, so we can start answering them. I mean, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end, but if you have any question or something is not clear, in the meantime, you can also post them on the chat. We also have Santi, our expert, in markets and the head of everything that we're building regarding the Reef token and the Reef crypto economy. So if you have any questions regarding Reef as well, you can take advantage of him being in the panel. And okay, I see now your interest is back. And after this, we're gonna go to the Defiant demo, right?
Yeah. We can go to the Defiant demo. I just wanted to show you is practically the same. The only thing you need to be aware if there is an allowance that you need to do when operating the platform. If you want to mint some Reef X, for example, you will need to do an allowance. But really, my internet connection is really slow, so maybe we show it in the next one. I will leave Sergio, no, Bruno, sorry, to do the next presentation.
Okay. Hi, everyone. First of all, let me thank Eddy for the invitation and everyone in the organization for making this possible. So, okay, we've been mentioned a couple of times already. So let me tell you a bit more in my own words about Defiant. Let me share my screen. Okay, there we go. Anyone, in case you're not seeing my screen or anything, you can just let me know, please. So I'll give you a little introduction and then a brief demo on Defiant. So Defiant's a wallet and with an integrated peer-to-peer marketplace for exchanging coins. Most of the coins you've been hearing about are in the app, as you'll see. So we're the first non-custodial wallet with the integrated P2P marketplace. You'll see it in action in just a few moments. First of all, how is Defiant born? So as many of you may know, some of you probably don't. We are an Argentinian project. We were born in this surrounding, in this socio-economic and political context, in which not only for the last years, but we've been bearing quite a few decades of suffering a lot of the inflation and devaluation of our currency. So many people here tend to buy US dollars as a way of protecting their assets and their money. But nowadays, the local government has imposed, well, it's been there for some years already, but a cap on the amount of foreign currency you can buy. So we saw around this time last year a huge growth in peer-to-peer markets, or even the emergence of markets in which people exchange among themselves using Telegram or Facebook groups. They exchange either Bitcoin or some stable coins. Their DAI, which is on Ethereum network, yes, you know, started to become very, very popular here in Argentina. And so we saw that there was a huge need there for a better solution, because maybe if people is exchanging it via a Telegram group, there may be some bot that's used for reputation, but we felt that there was a need for a better system, for a more formal system in terms of giving the user security, and there was a need of reputation scheme and some protection against scams as well. So we were born only as a peer-to-peer marketplace, But then we saw that we also had the opportunity of giving the user a better solution if we were also a wallet, and so we could have in the same app, you could have your tokens and also exchange them, either selling them or buying them. So nowadays we are a full-fledged wallet that can be used with or without logging in. As I said, we're non-custodial. You can, of course, create and import wallets using the mnemonics you export from other wallets. You can, for sure, send, receive your coins, of course, using QR codes. We've got multiple fiat coins that, in order to know the price of the coins you have in your wallet. Nowadays, you've got US dollars and Argentinian pesos. We've got more currencies coming. Also, it's a multi-language wallet. We're also expecting to finish some other translations. One of the latest features we've got is the RNS. That's one of the projects in the Reef ecosystem, which allows me to have currently for my RSK addresses, my alias that could be, for instance, Bruno.defiant.rsk, which also, if you create it using Defiant, it's free, so you don't even need to pay for the small fee that costs to create a domain or a subdomain. So we've got 3 networks integrated, both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and RSK. So you've got BTC, you've got legacy and SafeWith addresses, you've got for sure RBTC, the native token of RSK network. You've got all of the Manuel chain coins that Manuel just mentioned and explained, and you also got Ethereum and DAI. One of the interesting features we've got from the beginning is the possibility of exchanging or swapping the coins among them. There you've got a couple of pairs that you can currently swap among them. We're also integrating Uniswap and RSK swap. And with the token bridge and with several really interesting projects that are being developed by the community and also by RSK, you will probably be able to swap directly between most of the coins that you've got in the wallet. So this is a brief view of the listing of the peer-to-peer marketplace. You can either buy or sell all of the coins that we've got. You can filter and sort them by coin, by price, by distance, because of course one of the things people was doing at the beginning here when these peer-to-peer groups were born was exchanging them like fiat. So they needed to be close to each other. Inside each of your purchases, you've got a direct channel with the other party that it's encrypted end to end, and of course you can know the reputation of your counterparty.
Bruno, I have a question.
Sure.
Is it allowed to do questions between panelists? Am I allowed?
I've got no rules against it.
Okay. So Manu said that in the near future, every single Bitcoin BitPro holder will start receiving money on chain tokens, so governance tokens. It's in a kind of yield farming, if you want, on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The question is, those users holding their BitPro on Defiant will be benefited by this? So will they receive also the respective money on chain tokens or governance tokens? Is Defiant a way of yield farming this?
Yeah, sure. It's good because in those terms, Defiant's completely transparent. As it's a non-custodial wallet, it's exactly the same as using having your tokens, having them minted or redeemed through Nifty or MetaMask. So it's all in the blockchain. I mean, you'll either be seeing your tokens using Defiant or using MetaMask via the Money on Chain website, but it's exactly the same. Of course, you can both, and it's a good practice. It's nice that you can have your same wallet, so that your same addresses both in MetaMask or Nifty and in Defiant, you'll see exactly the same tokens. So, making it short, yes, you will receive them. Is that correct, Gagu?
Yes. Thank you so much. I was muted.
Okay.
I can't wait for the yield farming hype to arrive to DeFi for Bitcoin as well.
Completely. So I'll share my screen with you there. Could anyone tell me if you're seeing my app as well, Defiant, there in the middle of the screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thanks. So, okay, once you open Defiant, there you'll see that I have to, in order to continue to go ahead, I have to input my PIN, which is a 4-digit code. You'll see it here. First of all, I will change the language in order to do the demo in English. Okay, first of all, a brief side of the app. There I've got, as you may see up there, I've got 2 different wallets, which is, yes, you wanted to tell me?
No. Okay, no, I thought it didn't change from to English. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. It just takes a second. So I've got two wallets there that I imported long ago. I won't create one wallet right now because there's no need, and it takes don't be doubtful if it takes a couple of seconds, even 1 minute when it's created, because it has to do many calculations and crypto stuff, let's say, in the background. So if I go to my wallets, I can either import a new one or create a new one. I've got my list of coins with the amount of the portfolio that they represent, each of them, and the absolute amount I've got. There, as you may see, there are all of the coins that Manu just told you about. I also got Ethereum, DAI, also all of their testnet counts. So in any case, you've got a doubt of any of them. For instance, you don't remember what Manu Reef on Chain, you can go there, read a bit, also get driven to an external website where you may find a bit more of info. There you got the how much you've got, how much it represents. So one of the things I'll show you is how you can do exactly the same as Manu did using their website, and it's indeed exactly the same, because I will go swap, because we don't want the user needs to know what they want to do. For instance, if they want to change RBTC in exchange for dollar on chain, I show you how I think that Manu wanted to mint, which is virtually to create $10 on chain, dollars on chain. So there you go. So now Defiant's doing more or less the same that Money on Chain's website was doing. Actually, you'll see exactly the same here. You've got network fees, which are the ones that Manuel also mentioned. It's 17 US dollar cents and only 0.01. I mean, so $1 in terms of third parties fees. So if I confirm, I need to input my PIN, and the transaction will be transferred in mind. So what we wanted, so I've got the confirmation, and I may go on and using the wallet, doing my stuff, and when the corresponding block gets mined, I'll receive my dollars on chain. So if you put it like this, I think that it's quite an appealing experience, because we didn't need to configure anything. We didn't need to change the gas price, for instance. And similar to the operation I did, you can also go and also redeem BPRO in exchange for RBTC, for instance, and you only have to care for the amounts you want to trade, and that's it. Yeah, I'll give you a brief demo of the peer-to-peer marketplace. So this in the second tab down here, you can see that there are several offers. I don't know, for instance, I'll go and filter if I wanted to buy dollar on chain, for instance. I'll see the dollar on chain offers. I could go there and look, we're seeing Chinese, I think that is, and I could. Well, this is a Chinese guy that seems to be in Cordoba, but well, maybe why not? I think it's my brother actually. So I may go and click and I want to buy, and go buy his $5 on chain. Also, if I down here in the third tab, you've got the history of your transactions, the swaps I've done using CoinSwitch. That's a service used for some of the pairs, as you may see there, between DAI and BTC, and also my peer-to-peer purchases and the sales. So what does the sale? When I've already sold some DAI there, I go there, I've got the chat that's been decrypted. I can rate my transaction there. I see the other part. So as you see, it's very easy to both buy and sell cryptocurrencies using Defiant.
Bruno, let me add something, because for our Asian friends, I don't know how active the peer-to-peer exchange is in Asia, and given that you have sound and deep financial system, maybe this is not that relevant. But what Bruno is showing here, it's extremely important for everyday life in our.
It looks like Gabriel had a temporary technical issue. Well, maybe Bruno continue. As soon as he comes back, we can.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I was the problem.
Finish the question.
It was him. Yeah, we'll wait for him. I just wanted to know if it was me. So there we go.
I see. Okay, this is you sharing the screen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll wait for Gabriel.
Gabriel is back.
There I'm back. Sorry, I had a connection problem. But I was saying that this peer-to-peer part of the application is extremely important for the users of Dollar on Chain and Reef Dollar. So it's wonderful to see one platform where more speculative investors or Bitcoiners that want to get a passive income on their Bitcoin or on their Reef can use, but also it's the same platform that is serving people without deep financial services, or basically inexistent or inflationary economies, and can survive doing peer-to-peer exchanges. And something else that Bruno didn't mention, but it's extremely important for us in terms of adoption of the RSK infrastructure services and Reef's, solutions, is that Defiant is integrated with RNS, with the Reef, with the RSK name service. So any user can get their own subdomain for free, and in the future, instead of copying and pasting difficult addresses which are prone to error, especially for non-financially savvy users, they can use manu.defiant.rsk, gabriel.defiant.rsk as their address, which is much easier for these early adopters in the emerging markets to use the platform. And the other news is that very soon, Defiant will also be integrated with Lumino, which is the scalability solution built by Reef on top of RSK, which will enable peer-to-peer payment channels, enabling thousands of transactions per second at almost no cost. So this dream of bringing DeFi to every single corner of the planet, it's also going to be able to be done through the Defiant wallet, because the guys are very pushing the limit in terms of technology adoption, and every single solution that we are building within the Reef infrastructure layer, the Defiant team is implemented on the wallet. So I wanted to publicly thank guys for being so proactive and pushing the technology and helping us drive this DeFi on Bitcoin to every corner of Latin America and the rest of the world where this is needed the most. Super important what you guys are doing.
Wow, Gago, thanks a lot. I should close already with those words. I think there's no more need to keep on speaking. But well, thanks a lot. For us, it's a great pleasure to be working every day, because we feel that we're closer and closer to bringing this technology that has the ability to change people's life, closer and closer to what, as Manuel put it, I don't know if the Asian community will understand it, but to Doña Rosa, or to everyone in the streets. So yeah, we'll keep integrating all of the solutions and all the pieces of the Lego parts that we feel are great, as we've been doing. So just a brief mention of the next features. We're implementing, we're already testing internally the cash in and cash out, or off-ramp features provided by two partners, and that enable us to offer that in many countries in Latin America, and also with a third partner we're also already having conversations with. We'll integrate it for the rest of the world. And we're working on an escrow solution for the peer-to-peer marketplace for all of the purchases. That's being developed by Kleros, which I think it's needless to introduce them. And also we're integrating Wallet Connect, because we know that it's the door to integrate many dApps that are coming to the scene. Also Uniswap and the Centralized Token Exchange by Manuel Chain. Also, as Gaku said, Lumino and the RSK Ethereum token bridge, which we are really bullish on as well, because the idea of having DAI on RSK or dollar on chain on Ethereum networks is very appealing. And so, well, that'd be it. Let's hit the Q&A part. And well, thanks for all.
So do we have any questions from the audience? Eddy, how should we process the questions? Should they write them in the chat? What's the best way?
There was some questions.
I believe so. I've seen some notes as well.
Yes, there was.
I've seen some participants have commented.
But one was regarding the wallet.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, I see a question. Hey guys, a question for Defiant wallet and Defiant and R wallet. Where does the swap function to convert BTC to RBTC take place? So I'll let Bruno reply since you have built this. I'm sure you can tell us.
Yes, sure. I was reading it there in the chat. So yeah, for Tommaso that was asking that. Yeah, currently it's working through CoinSwitch, and as soon as there are other solutions, we'll integrate them. I know that there will be really soon a fast bridge, and any solution that may be improving that swap in particular will be integrated.
And I have a question for Santi here, if I may. Santi, maybe you can share with the.
I've been part of the audience here, so yes, sure.
No, so one of the most exciting projects I think that is happening right now in the ecosystem is the launch of the Taringa Club, which is directly linked to the Reef token, because the Taringa token is also using Reef as collateral. Could you share some ideas or something about the project and the potential of it with the audience?
Actually, the Taringa Club is managed by the Taringa team. I'm not fully aware of what's the status. Besides, I know that an MVP has been launched. But I think it will be great to add or to do another call with the people from the Taringa's team that are
okay. So I can share what I know at least. So as we said before, Taringa has 12 million active users per month. So it's a huge amount of active users, and the first step towards making them, Bitcoiners or savvy DeFi blockchain users was to create the Taringa Club that Santi was mentioning. The proof of concept with a small group of users, I think it's around 1,000 users, was launched last month. And what's interesting is that the Taringa token, the native token of the community, which will be used to collect and distribute the proceeds from the social network coming from advertisement through the network of content generators, it's based on the Reef token. So all the adoption and the early adoption that we will see in the Taringa community through the Taringa Club will be requiring a very important amount of Reef being staked to be able to issue the Taringa coins. So this is a very interesting project. This is the major pilot for this huge community, and we expect new tools such as all the tokens from Money on Chain and Reef on Chain and the Defiant wallet also become available to this community very soon. So it's a very interesting project because we are proving that blockchain technology can be very easy to use, and we're trying to bridge this gap between non-tech savvy users to the complexities of blockchain user experience, and with that, all these 12 million users will become members of or in the core of the Bitcoin or DeFi for Bitcoin community. So I'm very excited about this proof of concept being launched within the Taringa community. and it's very much linked to Reef. That's why
Great.
I thought it was relevant.
Well, I mean,
yes, and actually, to add something,
Santi, go ahead.
To add something else regarding the Reef token, I think it's crucial to start generating, usage of the Reef token and the Taringa Club. Besides, it will be good to add the Taringa's team, not here, but to do another call. It's very important to provide protocols for the Reef holders to be able to use the Reef tokens and to generate sort of passive income or an ecosystem and so on. And just to give you some numbers, since we launched Reef on Chain on April, the number of Reef that has been staked has raised 1,500% since then. So a lot of people had jumped in. Almost $800,000 are already staked in the platform, and more is coming. So nothing. I encourage any Reef holder to be part of this Reef on Chain platform and the protocols that are jumping into the RSK. Yeah.
I will like to address some of the question of the public, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
There is a question about how safe. I don't know on which I saw that you explained it about RSK. Regarding money on chain, this is experimental software as Bitcoin is. Obviously, we have our top priority is security. This is open source. We have audits. It has formal verifications also. And the code is public. We have run, as I mentioned during my explanation, thousands of simulations. We have a simulation machine for the financial model behind the protocol. And besides, we have tested against very extreme simulated market conditions. As I mentioned in my explanation, we have the biggest crash in the price of Bitcoin in a very short period, in one day, in March 13. I will share now. I will look for an article where our CTO analyzed the performance of the protocol. But as I mentioned, we feel that this is the most secure and more robust stablecoin collateralized with crypto now in the world. I would say I will feel pretty comfortable with saying that regarding the financial model. Why? Mainly because we have these three actors where there is a buffer, which is the BitPro, but the main risk, the main volatility when the price of Bitcoin crashes is taken by the traders who are doing leverage operations, and that is okay. The traders don't and are not worried about that because they know that they are trading with a leverage operation and they're exposed to a high risk in the case of the price of Bitcoin crashes. So that's regarding. I don't know if there is any other question. And the other question was if I can explain the BitPro issuance. BitPro issuance is very simple. When you send your RBTC, the system looks for the technical price and issue the BitPro against your RBTC, which is like I would explain very, very simple, not in a technical way, but imagine that there is a big bag in a smart contract where all the RBTC are going to that bag, and when it's get it, they issue another token against with the technical price of the BitPro at that moment. So you are working against a software. And when you send your BitPro against that bag, it sends you the amount of RBTC at the technical price that bag has. That would be a simple way to explain. I will add a short video where it explains how the system works. And of course, you can join the community and we can continue. You can ask again if it was not clear.
I think there is something very important, because I've seen this question coming up before. One thing that I think you should clearly explain is, besides, let's say, what happens in the background for the issuance of BitPro, is that basically the BitPro is on your wallet. It's not on the platform. So
yeah.
So it means that you will exchange your Bitcoin for a token, but that token will still be on your wallet. So I think it's good for you, Manuel, to explain that is the case, so they understand that they're not taking a platform risk in that sense. In any case.
Yeah, it's a smart contract, and it issue a token like the dollar on chain. You can trade it. You can put it in your hardware wallet. Store it in your Trezor or your Ledger. You can send it to anyone. You can put it in cold storage. It's a token. It's not a position. That's not the case with the BTCX. In the case of the BTCX, also it's non-custodial. It's in the smart contract, but it's not a token that is tradable. It's a position inside the smart contract. Obviously, we don't have access to that. But it's a position inside a smart contract. There is another question: if the Defiant wallet is fully integrated to Mock. I would, maybe Bruno, you can explain it also, but it is fully integrated. Actually, at the protocol level, what Defiant do is the same that our app, our desktop application does. It integrates directly to the protocol. So when you are converting RBTC to BTCX or BitPro or whatever, you are operating the smart contract directly. You are not buying a token. You are minting a token. Okay.
Manu, I think this is worth stressing out, because it's different. It's one of the features that the Money on Chain team wanted to make different from, let's say, MakerDAO, right? So maybe worth explaining, because people are used to using the stable coins, but they do not know the details behind it, and this is one of the particular differences.
Yes. Well, in another system, when you send your Ethereum or other tokens, the collateral that is trapped. You cannot trade your collateral. In this case, you get a token that you can stake it. Actually, you will be able, for example, we are talking with Sovereign, and the idea is you will be able to take a loan with your RBTC in Sovereign, for example, which is another protocol, but you will be also able to send your BitPro. That's what we are proposing them to do. So you will be able to get a Bitcoin with a little bit of leverage and a passive income, and then use these same tokens to stake it in another protocol and take a loan with these tokens. So that's, for me, for example, that I'm a BitPro holder. That's marvelous. That's crazy. So that's the kind of thing. The other quick thing that is asking is, for example, if can convert the BTC to BTCX and carry the risk of BTCX2 volatility directly into the wallet. Yes, in this case, if you take a BTC2X position on Defiant, it's exactly the same as taking this position in the web app. And if the price of Bitcoin goes down 50%, your BTCX will be liquidated. And the other question is, if so, how does the settlement work? The settlement is different to liquidation. The settlement occurs every 30 days. So at the time of the settlement, if you have $100 in BTCX, doesn't matter how many BTCX are, your RBTC are going to be sent to your RBTC account address. And that's how it works, the settlement. That's the settlement. Every 30 days, your position in BTCX is, by the system, is redeemed, and you get the amount of RBTC at the exchange rate between BTCX and RBTC. and you can issue another X position, or Reef X works exactly the same. So you need to be aware on this settlement date. We cannot tell, this is another question, can you tell the exact time when it's going to occur? Well, these are blockchain transactions, so it depends on the number of blocks. So it's not possible. We normally tell, well, in the system you can see the time when it's going to occur, but it's an approximate time.
Maybe Bruno, you can finish this question, which is there a dashboard integrated on the app? I guess there is an interface, but maybe you can describe it a bit more, I guess.
I would assume that Tommaso asks about a dashboard to see metrics from Money on Chain platform, as it's in the same question as the rest, because our dashboard would be the screen you saw where you can see all of your coins and all that. We don't have a web app, if that's what you mean, or if you are interested in seeing all of the Money on Chain indicators, parameters, all of that, it's in Money on Chain's web app. We try to be as minimalistic as possible in order not to confuse the user.
Yeah. I think that's what Tommaso wanted to know. So I guess you can store or trade with your BitPro and RBTC on the Defiant wallet, but if you want to see the leverage or any kind of metrics, you go to the Money on Chain web platform. Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's the easiest combination here. But I would suggest maybe that we anyone wants to conclude. Maybe each of us can say a few words to conclude, because now we have been on for about 1 hour and 46 minutes, and I'm very happy to see that 90% of the audience has stayed until now, which is great. Thank you very much for your interest and for your patience, and I hope it's instructive. So yeah, I mean, I would let maybe Santi, you want to say a few words? I'm sorry, we're not extremely active, but
I was just for a backup if someone asks something regarding the metrics of Reef on Chain in particular. But if I have to add something, keep in mind the different products and protocols are coming into the Reef token. So one of the things that it's important is that every Reef holder that wants to generate a passive income by staking the Reef in the Reef platform will be able to use those same Reef Pro, that it's the name of the Reef token staked in the Reef on Chain platform, to, for example, lend against a different rate. Will be able to have a RDoc that is a stable coin collateralized by Reef tokens, also to be lending or to be swapping it in the next platforms that are jumping into our ecosystem, that I can't say much now because we are working on that. But I really encourage any Reef holder to be part of this new platform, and nothing to follow us, Telegram and the social media, where we are updating everyone regarding the news and regarding the new things that are coming
Great. In. Thank you. Manuel, maybe?
I would like to invite everybody to join our Telegram group. It's a very active community in Spanish. Obviously, we are Latin American. We like a lot to talk. And in English, is increasing. This is actually our first presentation in Asia. So I'm really, really happy to be here sharing a little bit of what we are doing for Bitcoin. So please join the English community or the Spanish community if you talk Spanish, and ask many questions. Try the platform. We are Bitcoiners, and we build it for those that think that Bitcoin could be used in different ways. We would love to see you using the platform and asking questions.
Great. Bruno?
Sure. I was just pasting the links to our Twitter and Telegram support group in English, and also our website that I think we haven't put there. So yeah, I joined Manuel here. Glad to be here. It was our first conference as well for the Asian community, but we expect it not to be the last one. And so yeah, feel free, reach out to us. We'd really enjoy seeing users from Asia coming, and also giving us feedback. We're also open for investors, so just feel free also to reach out to us. And well, it's been a pleasure. Just use the wallet and tell us what you think about it.
Great. Gabriel, I let you conclude.
Yes, so thanks again for everyone to stay so late and for being interested in this growing ecosystem. It feels amazing. I mean, for those who have been in the space for many years, it reminds us like the early days when we were organizing these early meetups that Max, one of the founders of Money on Chain, also was part back in 2012, in 2013, where we were explaining to each other how to use Bitcoin and doing peer-to-peer transactions in pubs and bars. And it's amazing to see how, half a decade later, we are starting to do the same with stable coins being built with collateral on Bitcoin. So I think this is, as Dieguito likes to say always, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. It's not about what's going to happen in the next 2-3 weeks. It's about what's going to happen in the next decade. And I believe that DeFi for Bitcoin will play a key role in the world of the financial system of the future. And this project will be very interesting to discuss and see the evolution in 5 years from now. And I really hope to get all the Asian community involved and building this together, because if we want the decentralized finance ecosystem and the future of the financial system being built on top of Bitcoin, it's something that we need to build together. So I'm really happy to be back in touch with our Asian community and invite all of you to also join the boat and help us spread the word and use Money on Chain and these amazing tools such as Defiant that we've been presenting today. So thank you very much, everyone, for staying so late, and looking forward to talking again very soon.
Thank you, Gabriel. Francisco, if you have a link to where people can find the webinars, or maybe just on the website, maybe you can post it. Otherwise, I'm sure you can continue following the Twitter accounts and yes, the YouTube channel, as you can see. I see a lot of familiar names in the group. That's great. People we usually meet traveling around the world, but this is the next best thing that we're doing. Still connecting, but in a electronic way. Thank you for all the panelists. It was great, and hopefully we do this again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.